The town was the kind of place where nothing terrible was supposed to happen. One long road ran past a quiet lake, and most people only noticed it when the sun hit the water just right on their way home. Then the lake started giving things back. A fisherman found the first clue just after sunrise, a single shoe floating near the reeds. He almost ignored it until he saw the foot still inside. Police arrived expecting an accident. But when divers searched the water, they found more. Over the next 2 weeks, pieces of several victims surfaced, all carefully weighted and tied. Whoever put them there had taken their time. Forensic teams matched the remains to missing persons reported over the last 3 years. Different ages, different jobs. The only connection was geography. Every victim had last been seen near the same stretch of road that ran along the lake's eastern edge. That road passed one isolated house. It sat behind a rusted gate with overgrown grass and covered windows. The owner, Walter Haynes, was a quiet mechanic who lived alone. No record, no history of violence. Neighbors described him as forgettable. Police knocked on his door early one morning. He answered quickly and invited them inside. The house was spotless, almost empty. It smelled faintly of bleach. They asked about the lake. He said he fished there sometimes. They asked about the missing people. He said he didn't know them. Then an officer noticed a faint stain on the floor and a locked door leading to the basement. A warrant was issued. When they opened the basement door, the smell hit first. Rotten chemicals trapped in the warm air. The room below was lined with plastic. Hooks hung from the ceiling beams. A drain sat in the center of the floor. Freezers stood against one wall. Inside them were labeled containers. Dates written neatly in marker. On a shelf nearby were notebooks filled with schedules, routines, and observations about the victims. He had watched them first, learned their habits, waited until they were alone. He wrote about their reactions in calm, clinical detail. He gave them numbers instead of names. When Walter was arrested, he didn't resist. He only asked if they had found everything. When told they were still searching, he said quietly, "There's more in the lake." Divers returned and recovered additional remains. The victim count rose. Some families finally got answers. Others learned the worst possible truth. At trial, he showed no emotion. He corrected dates when prosecutors got them wrong. He spoke about his crimes like they were projects he'd completed carefully. One survivor testified. Her car had broken down near the lake. He offered help, drove her to the house, locked the door. She escaped only because he stepped out of the room for a moment. She ran barefoot into the road and flagged down a truck. What stayed with her most, she said, wasn't the basement. It was how calm he sounded. After the conviction, the house was demolished and the basement filled with concrete. The land was fenced off, but the lake remained. You can't erase a place like that completely. People say the water looks darker now. On hot evenings, when the surface is still, a faint smell sometimes drifts from the shore. Sweet, rotting, and if you stand there long enough in the quiet, you might feel like something is still just beneath the surface. Not moving, just waiting.